Good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you all to the Hindu Science and Technology Analysis on 21st August 2022. Hope you all have experienced the fatigue. Fatigue means the tiredness. After 6 hours of work, everyone is getting tired. So, what may be the reason for this tiredness after 6 hours of work? There is a neurotransmitter in the central nervous system that is named as glutamate. What is that? Glutamate. So, this glutamate activates when we are working endlessly for 6 hours in a day. So, we need rest. Unless we have this rest, this glutamate get activated and we get tired and we cannot move forward anymore. So that is a reason for our tiredness. Remember the name glutamate. And another study in Netherlands have been found that if you cycle 2.5 kilometers per day, that is if you buy a bicycle and if you have a bicycle, you bicycle use the bicycle and cycle for 2.5 kilometers a day, the effect on carbon dioxide emissions, that is the polluting gases into the environment, reduces. Suppose all of us are bicycling 2.5 kilometers per day, around 686 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions can be reduced. So this is a very interesting study. Another study, how the moon was formed, has been written in the question corner. We all know the giant impact theory. Giant impact theory explains that one particle, that is one bigger meteorite, collided with the earth, and as a result of which the earth was formed. That was a celestial body which had collided with earth many billions of years ago. How this has been found, my dear friends, how this has been verified? Because in the earth's mantle, after the crust of the earth is extending up to certain kilometers, and the second level beneath our feet is the mantle, and then forms the core of the earth. So three levels are there. The first is crust, the second one is mantle, and the central portion of the earth's interiors is called the core. So the in the mantle forms the larger part of the earth. In the mantle, noble gases, helium and neon. Helium and neon are called noble gases. These noble gases have been found from the moon's crater, some of the craters in the moon, which explains the theory that it is indeed from the earth this moon has been born. Then there is another question regarding the COVID 19 vaccine. The booster dose. Now we are discussing about the booster dose. Everyone is aware of the booster dose. That is, first dose we had taken, and the second dose of the vaccine taken after 180 days, and then again sometimes it was 80 days to 90 days, and after that second dose of the vaccine was taken, and the booster dose was prescribed for 9 months after the second dose of the vaccine. We have taken most of the persons, that is 30% of the old age people had taken this booster dose, and around 60% of the healthcare workers had taken this booster dose, and 56% of the health frontline workers had taken this booster dose. So three target groups were introduced to take the booster dose from January 2022. The booster dose was intended for the preventing the recurrence of COVID-19. Corbevax, produced by BioE, was chosen as the booster dose apart from Covishield and Covaxin. The studies have shown that When Corbevax is taken with Covaxin, but that is if you have taken first doses of the vaccine by using Covaxin, then the next one, if it is the third dose, that is the booster dose, if it is Corbevax, then what happens is that it is called heterologous immunization. Heterologous means first two doses you have taken Covaxin and a different medicine, that is vaccine you are taking, that is Corbevax. So this is heterologous vaccination. Several studies have been conducted and clinical trials have proved that heterologous vaccination produces more antibodies. However, the studies with regard to the homologous vaccination, that is, first you have taken Covaxin or Covishield, then second dose also you have taken same Covaxin or Covishield. If you are taking the third dose also, that is booster dose also, Covaxin or Covishield, continuing with the first two doses, that is called homologous vaccination. That is Covaxin for the first dose, Covaxin for the second dose, Covaxin for the third dose also, that is booster dose also. That is called homologous vaccination. Suppose Covaxin for the first dose, Covaxin for the second dose, and Corbevax for the third dose or the booster dose, it is called heterologous. However, the studies related to the homologous vaccination is not available from India. The clinical trials with regard to the advantage of homologous vaccination has not been conducted in India. However, the other nations of the world have conducted such tests and the results are available. In India, the Christian Medical College Vellore had conducted the test on homologous vaccination and found that the homologous vaccination produces more effect than the heterologous vaccination. I hope you understand now the meaning of heterologous vaccination and homologous vaccination. Once again, I will tell you, heterologous vaccination means first two doses you have taken Covaxin, means if you are taking Corbevax, then it is called heterologous because the third dose or the booster dose is different from the first two doses. First two doses should be equal. Same medicine you should, same vaccination you should take. Suppose you are taking Covishield, means you can take the second dose also Covishield only, and if you are taking Corbevax as the booster dose, then it is called heterologous vaccination. The government of India has reduced the time limit for the second dose or the third dose or the booster dose from 9 months to 6 months. However, there is no scientific study saying that this reduction of time makes any effective against the COVID-19 disease. So the scientists are telling that wait for more for taking the booster doses, that is make it longer. Even 9 months is not sufficient. If a longer period has been chosen, that would be better. August 10 was the time, that is just 11 days back was the time when the final approval to the Corbevax has been given. The medicine approval process is like this. First, the drug regulator recommends the medicine, and there is an agency which is the Central Drug Regulatory Agency, which is CRAG, Central Regulatory Authority on testing of the drugs, which is giving the final approval, and all the approvals have been got in on August 10 for the Corbevax vaccine. So this is a very new one, and though it has been there for long, the final approvals have been made only on August 10. So we will see how this pans out. And another point which the scientists are telling that never compel anyone to take the booster doses. because the booster doses have been, the Corbevax has been developed with the same strains, that is ancestral strains, the strains of the previous before Omicron. What was the variant of COVID-19 was there. From there, the strains have been taken to produce the Corbevax. Therefore, the scientists are telling that, researchers are telling that a coordination between the Biotechnology Institute, the government, and the ICMR must be taken so that the efficacy of the Corbevax should be worked out. It is not proved that it is effective against the variants of Omicron. Corbevax is not proved to be effective against Omicron. Mind you, Corbevax is not proved to be effective against Omicron because with the previous virus strains this has been developed. Hence, let us wait. What is the prudent approach? Let us wait for a vaccination which incorporates all the antibodies against the further mutations of the Omicron virus, which is prevalent now, so that an effective way of vaccination is done. Friends, I am going to discuss about the green revolution and its effect and what should be done for increasing the cultivation of rice. The Green Revolution in the 1960s ushered in an era of higher productivity of paddy cultivation. It was increased threefolds. The productivity of rice and the production of rice was increased threefold. However, we all know that fertilizers were used. Fertilizers were used during the Green Revolution and the pesticides were also used. So what happened now is that now we are facing a situation where the soil is dead, almost dead. It is not producing more. So what happens is that India is the largest exporter of rice in the world. However, we have to increase its productivity. A report from the China, which has been published in the Science Journal, says that the productivity of rice with gene modulation can be increased. What is gene modulation, my dear friends? Have you heard about BT cotton? Yes, BT cotton is the gene modulated one. That is a gene, that is Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis BT has been introduced into the cotton, the normal cotton's seed, and it has been converted into the organic BT cotton. Indian government approved the cultivation of BT cotton and soybean. The soybean and BT cotton organic cultivation, that is genetically modified BT cotton and soybean, has been approved by Government of India. However, for rice varieties, the genetic modulation has yet to be approved. What happens is that from the Chinese studies, it has been proved that there is a OSBREDS. There is a gene which can be introduced into the rice, and with that gene, 40% increase in productivity will happen. It can avoid this issue, can avoid this genetic modulation, can avoid converting forest lands into agricultural lands, my dear friends. This is going to help us a lot because there has been concern where to cultivate, because as I said, the soil is dead now and it is no longer producing much what we need. So we have to feed the population, and also India is the largest exporter of rice. We have to continue this streak. How it can be continued? Only genetic modulation will help. The transcriptional analysis has been done in China. That transcriptional analysis has been published in the Nature, that is in the Science magazine. There is a Science magazine which publishes the research articles. So this Chinese experiment has proven to be very much effective, And why not we produce the same kind of genetically modulated rice varieties? A study has to be conducted. The Biotechnology Institute, the ICMR, and the government must come together to promote this genetically modified rice production. I remember once what happened was that the genetically modified rice was having a problem in Europe. As to they said that some contamination was there in the Indian rice. We are exporting our rice to 150 countries, including Europe. There was a problem with the European testing agency, which that I remember I had run an editorial analysis also on that aspect, that the rice coming from India was tested and it was found to contain some contaminants, and it was alleged that it was genetically modified. And India opposed it, saying that it was not genetically modified. So we have to consider various European agencies also, testing agencies also, before considering the genetical modulation of this. Although this article by D. Balasubramanian doesn't explain about, that doesn't refer that European testing crisis which happened for India, we have to rope in the European testing agency also into this discussion, because this is very important. Because once we had got rejection of the Indian rice, and then we had to convince, and the export is going on as usual. So various agencies, various macro factors have to be considered before we embark on this journey, my dear friends. The article by R. Prasad, I explained about the COVID 19 vaccination, that is heterologous and homologous experiments, that is clinical trials, and which one was better. R. Prasad has been writing very nice articles coming from the research teams from all over the world. He is going through some research journals and publishing lots of research articles. Today there is an article by Suhasini, so the Deshigan. She is also writing about COVID-19. It is about the spontaneous growth of the COVID-19 virus. That is the multiplication effect of the COVID-19 virus, which is saying that first, when the virus spreads, initially it won't be spreading so hugely, but when the later, when as it progresses, the progression, that is the spread of the virus is at a super speed, that is it is multiplying like anything. So these two columns are, and three columns, that is D. Balasubramanian's column, R. Prasad's column, and Suhasini Desikan's column, is really very helpful, because it produces the concepts from different studies from different magazines. They are researching on they are reading different magazines and bringing the studies to us. And the question corner is also very resourceful, my dear friends. And there will be small bits of news coming from the science and technology pages from all over the world, which will be on the left hand corner of the science and technology page. My dear friends, kindly look out for R. Prasad, Suhasini Deshikan, and D. Balasubramanian. D. Balasubramanian publishes articles once in 2 weeks or once in 3 weeks, like that. There have been very interesting articles about, I have already taken articles from the D. Balasubramanian column earlier also. That is clinical trials and all, lots of useful articles are coming. About cancer, there was one article. Then the therapeutics, clinical therapeutics, there was an article. And about the Madagascar, India, that is Gondwana theory, all those things were there. Then clinical molecular biological clock theory I discussed. So lots of important articles are coming here. Kindly watch out for these articles. Thank you, my dear friends, for your patient hearing. I'll come with some more columns like this next week in the science and technology column. You also endeavor yourselves to read all these articles. Then only your foundations of the understanding will be perfect. Let me take bid adieu for today. Take care. Bye bye. See you.